Live. Why are men not approaching women anymore? What is the red pill? For that matter, what is the blue pill? Tonight is part 5 of our series on love, dating, and relationships in 2021. It's time to jump off live. I'm yours truly, Jeff A. Smith, and I'm joined by the rest of Team Jump Off. We have DJ, aka that dude named Dave, JD, aka JD, John, aka Johnny Dangerous. And we're also joined tonight yet again by honorary members of Team Jump Off. We have the amazing and intelligent Dr. Zoe Stallings of Musk Clinic in North Carolina. And from the channel, Mike's Philippine Journey YouTube star, Myk E is in the place to be. As you're watching the show, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Also, you can check us out on Zingo TV, channels 249 and 250. And if you're on the go, you can find us on your favorite podcast streaming app. So without further ado, DJ, kick us off.
Hey, before we get started, gotta let everybody know we need that HBO special. You know what that HBO special is. Help a brother out. Click like, subscribe, bell notification. I'm gonna say that every time I get started here and at the end of every show. Come on now. HBO special, hook a brother. Help us out here. We out here. So, what are we talking about here, guys? We're talking about dating and women can't handle the truth about what men actually know here. There were several questions I was bringing to each one of you guys this week, especially our honorary lady, Dr. Zoe here. And there are so many things that's happening in dating. We talked about making a sandwich. We talked about taking the last name. But one of the serious problems that we're seeing here is, why are men not really approaching women? What is really happening here in the dating world where women in their 30s are complaining, where are the eligible bachelors at? What is actually happening here? So we're going to talk about several topics here, and as well as that red pill that some people know about, some people don't know about. Are you a blue pill or maybe a purple pill? So let's kick this off of our panel here. We got the jump off crew. We ready to go here. I want to start off our first question here before we get into the nitty gritty. Let's warm this up here, guys. Why men are not approaching women today? So, let's go with the guest here. Mikey, you weren't here with us last week, so I'm going to go to you first here. I always go to Zoe first, but I want to give her a break for a second here. So, if you don't mind, Mikey, why are men not approaching women these days? What do you think?
Well, I mean, with a lot of the stuff that's going on with this whole Me Too movement, how it unfortunately got kind of hijacked by some people. And the biggest problem with that is that at any given moment in time, a lot of people, a lot of women have unfortunately put down men. And I think men are starting to wake up and realize what's going on. I mean, at any given, they have this thing called angel shots now. Are you guys familiar with the angel shot? Yeah, so the angel shot is if a woman feels that she's being harassed by a man. Now, here's the thing. I understand how that goes, right? There are guys out there, there's outliers, but you have women now ordering angel shots just to have the bartender get rid of the guy that's trying to talk to her. So that's one of the things that we're facing a lot as men. And the thing, though, is women now are just, there's nothing wrong with having women power and different things, but men are tired of that stuff. Men are tired of the games that are happening. And I think that a lot of men now is at the same time is starting to talk to each other. This whole thing about barbershop talk, this whole thing about locker room talk, I think has now come over to YouTube land where a lot of people are after this stuff. So I think guys are now start talking that we don't need to do that. That's why if you go to YouTube, if you go to TikTok, if you go to Instagram, you have a bunch of girls who are single saying that why are no men approaching me anymore? Where did all the good guys gone? And I think that women don't ask the question of where are the good women? Where have they gone? And so just this whole pressure of this whole stuff, guys are just like, forget it. I'm not going to approach a woman no more. It's time for them to approach us. And now we're seeing marriage rates dropping down. Now we're seeing, divorce rates dropping down. And that's just where we are. I think men are just sick and tired of the standards that women are expecting. The typical, if you guys know what I'm talking, the devil's number, right? the devil's number that women are going for. It's a 666. What that is, 6 foot man, 6-figure income, right? You have that. The 666.
What's that last 6, player?
What's that last 6, Mike? What that
a minimum of a 6-inch dick. So there's these standards that are women. If you're not going to meet the standards of a lot of women nowadays,
there you have it, folks.
Right? If you're not going to meet the standards of certain women, they want you to brush off. It's that whole hypergamy stuff that's going on, and I think it's just working bad for women now because men are starting to talk. That's why there's that stuff with Kevin Samuels now being petitioned to get him the hell out because women are like, oh, don't talk about him. You have pastors now saying you can't talk about this stuff no more because the only guy that a woman should actually listen to are the pastors. And I think that guys are starting to revolt. So for the guys that already found their significant other, good for you, kudos for you. For the guys that are still single, who don't know how to navigate the whole system, sucks for them.
Man, Mikey, you came with some heat for the first few minutes here of the show. Man, Charles Robinson, shout out to our chat. Our chat's always popping, man. Charles Robinson, you're right, man. The devil's a lie at times. You got that right, man. So, Zoe, you're the woman on the panel here.
Yes.
Why men not approaching women? What is your perspective on why this is actually happening right now?
I think there's so much of a breakdown in terms of how we communicate. I really wish we could just start in middle school, right? In middle school, I wish we could have classes where we teach young men and young women how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I was watching YouTube and I couldn't even turn it off. This guy was clearly hurt and scarred for life. And it wasn't Kevin Samuels. I mean, I don't have a problem with Kevin Samuels. The issue I had was the gentleman who was on this channel literally was talking about how to hurt women. And I keep thinking hurt people, right? So we have all these opportunities in our community to date, but we miss them when we're young. And so the more you get shot down, and I was talking to my brother, he said, imagine if you walked around and got shot down as many times as men get shot down. I mean, I have never experienced that. I have never had to walk up to 3 or 4 guys and be like, hey, try to shoot my shot, get shot down, do it again, get shot down and do it again. That's a little traumatic. And so if we take it back to how many times can a person truly get shot down and the way that we're shooting people down. So I think there are so many ways that we get to this place. How do we get here? I think women have horrendously shot down dudes. I mean, I'm on Instagram hearing a story of a girl who gets, I want to say flued out because, that's what the young folks say, but she was flown out to meet a man out of town, gets there, he puts her up in a hotel, he comes to take her out, and she says, I don't want to go out with you, and plays him. So imagine how he will treat the next woman after that. I was in a wedding, wonderful wedding. 6 months later, the bride calls me and says, I hope you're not upset, but I'm getting divorced because I didn't realize that, it was going to be this hard to be married. After the man paid for the wedding and the ring and all these things, how do you think he's going to treat the next woman? So in a lot of times, hurt people. And sometimes if you get shot down enough times, you stop. But there are still really quality folks out there. I think it just means that women, their whole podcast geared towards women making themselves more attractive and alluring. We talked about this with the bonnets, right? If you're walking around in your bonnet, you look unapproachable. And some women, it's been referred to that bonnet as the armor, stay away. But, we talk about how women can be more inviting. We talk about how you can be more engaging. But sometimes women might need to start shooting their shot. They're doing it in Atlanta. Women shoot their shot all the time in Atlanta. They go up to men and ask them, are you available? Are you legally married? Are you married by the eyes of the IRS? Are you married? Can anybody claim you on their taxes? Women ask men what their status are, and they shoot their shots. Women are sliding up in the DMs and shooting their shot too. I think now in this day and age with feminism and the Me Too movement, it's more of an equal opportunity, but men are tired of getting shot down. And many of my guy friends say they don't even bother. They're not going to buy the drinks that it might take to talk up a girl who's just going to drink the drink and move on. And we talked about what we say was called foodie call.
Foodie calls.
Exactly. I think that we really have to think about how we've deteriorated to get to this point where men don't talk to women, and how we can try to work on it, at the middle school level.
Interesting, Zoe. I like that viewpoint there. John, I see you. You and like you're in Grizzly, Uncle John status over there. You're pondering over there. What you got for me, man? I know you got something serious with this here, man. Why are men not approaching women?
Well, I mean, a lot of men are just tired of catching that B-box spit. You know what I'm saying? They go approach a female before they even get close enough.
Wait, John, repeat that again. Say that again.
I'm gonna break it down.
No, repeat it one more time.
Men are tired of getting hit with that B-box spit. Before they even can make it to a female to get her attention, to approach her properly, instead of saying, hey, yo.
Hey, shouty.
Right, hey, shouty. And, there's some gentlemen out there that have to get close enough to approach a woman, especially now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's wearing masks and whatnot. You got to get close enough to engage her. And now, well, actually, for a long period of time, men have been tired of getting hit with that B-box spit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. To where a gentleman approaches a female, a lady. Excuse me, miss. Before he can get the last S out in miss, she like, she doing all that. She ain't even made eye contact.
Hey, is that also called the Dougie Fresh?
Yeah, pretty much. They can beatbox that good. The Biz Marquee, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, Dr. Zoe, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you talked about the amount of times men get rejected. Rejection is huge, especially nowadays. People are so used to doing everything online and not in person. So now when you do have the opportunity to do something in person, if you're met with rejection, man, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. If you don't have that confidence, because it's a lot of guys that have figured it out though. It's a numbers game with women. It really is. It's a numbers game. If you're okay with hearing no 50 times to get an average of 10%, 5 numbers or 5 whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna keep going at them until you get what you want. I know this one guy, real quick story. When I was in the Air Force, there's one dude we called Killer T. The Killer T talked with an accent, but he wasn't from nowhere where he should have had an accent, So Killer T couldn't really speak that well. I'll be out of that, that's my boy. I love you, T. I don't know how you got into the Air Force, man, but you slipped through the cracks, bro. Killer T didn't care about hearing no. He didn't care about a no. He figured that Killer T was not the most handsome guy. He wasn't the most well-spoken. There was really, nothing appealing about Killer T. But Killer T knew that if he approached enough women, that the numbers would work in his favor. And I seen this man at work many a times, especially when we was in England. When we were in England, in the pubs, in the club, I seen so many women tell him no. But then I seen those handful that told him yes. Killer T was winning every single night. I didn't have the courage to do what Killer T did because I'll never like hearing no. I don't like hearing no not. So that's what it is. It boils down to that no, Dave.
I feel that. I feel that, John. I have a friend, my guy Micah, same way. He from Rhode Island and he moved out here to Chicago, and he literally says, I don't care. I talk to any woman.
Anybody.
It doesn't matter. And like I said, we was downtown one day. Like I said, he literally probably he went to 150 women on Michigan Avenue and got 20 numbers. He's like, I can't get to all 20, but you see how that works.
That was a little bit better than 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like 12 and a half, right?
We were out there for 6 hours. I mean, that's a lot of work for them 20 numbers, but hey,
a lot of work.
But think about it though. The numbers show, hey, am I gonna get to all 20 now? But 4 or 5 of them might get in the rotation.
And he'd be able to get what he wanted out of those numbers.
But those cats are anomalies though. We don't see, your man in the Air Force just go ahead and say, I don't care, I don't mind the rejection. So
man, hey, he started off every sentence with what do you call it? Everything he said was, hey, what do you call it? Nothing personal. Those two things, he put them together. but it worked. How you approach a lady and say, "Hey, what do you call it at the person? You know, I was over here and I just seen you over there, and you know, what I'm saying? We come together like this, you know what I'm saying, and fly off like this." It works for 'em.
God, yeah, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Hey, before I
Hey, man,
move
I'm telling
on,
the truth too.
shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Pedro,
Yeah,
welcome
definitely.
back. You're welcome back. JR's back, you know, honorary jump off. Hey,
Yes, sir.
Tito. Hey, Tito's always talking mess, man. What's up with you with the Geico insurance, Tito? Do you work for them as well as the post office? Let us know. You know. So, Jeff, man,
Yes, sir.
one of the people who has some of the most wisdom on the show here. What do you think about why men ain't approaching women, even in the past or even now? What's going on? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that there's this self-fulfilling prophecy that's going on where people are just assuming the worst case scenarios or the worst thing is going to happen. That's what I think. I think there's so much attention paid towards. We see these, and granted, a lot of these statistics are true. You know what I'm saying? Some of the statistics that Mikey threw out and everything like that. But I think that when we see all this, all these relationships not working out, the media and just, you know, talking to friends and neighbors, et cetera, and people saying, man, I thought this was going to work out. It didn't work out. And I think there's just a general negative connotation as it relates to trying to find love nowadays. It doesn't seem as aspirational as it used to be. And so I think people go into these situations expecting, you know, the worst to happen or expecting something negative to come out of it. I think people are not going into these situations saying, you know what, this may be the one. This may be, you know what I'm saying, this may be the love of my life, or this may lead to something very special. I think they go into it already saying, well, let me see what's going to be. Let me shoot this shot and see what happens. Or in most cases, I'm not even going to do it anyway, because what's going to happen? It's not going to lead me anywhere. So I think people are not, they don't have the right mindset as it relates to trying to find that significant other. And when you don't have the right mindset and you assume the worst, that's what's going to continue to happen for you. That's why I say it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you kind of lose it before you even try. Another thing too, I would say, is nobody likes rejection, obviously. One thing I've learned in acting, because in acting I deal with rejection a lot, and I think you could use the same train of thought in the dating world too, because it's pretty much the same type of thing. So, you know, I go on many auditions. I get told no way more than I get told yes as an actor. That's just part of acting. You know what I'm saying? And when I started off, it would really, really mess me up. And one no for an audition would, you know, discourage me from my next audition as well too. Until I realized I have to focus on enjoying the process of doing it. So being able to audition for a specific role and do what I love to do was the win for me, and getting the opportunity was the icing on the cake. So it's not necessarily apples to apples with dating, I know, but being able to put yourself out there, trying to get to know somebody, exploring that, you know, potential relationship or that potential connection, it has some merit in and of itself. Now, if it leads to something great, fantastic. That's icing on the cake. If it doesn't, then you learn from that situation and you proceed accordingly. So looking at it from that perspective, I'm not saying it's going to help you to not get upset about rejection, but if you realize that you have a greater goal in mind, hopefully those no's won't have as much sting to them. When you know that, you know, each no or each.
Hey Jeff, sorry to you're sounding a little bit muffled there. Can you pull back in real fast? Pause.
Yeah. Do I still sound muffled now?
Hey, you're back now. Good job.
Okay, cool.
Pause.
Right. Pull back in and pause.
a second.
Yeah. So each no or each rejection should be a learning experience that you can use to hopefully build up your skills, and you can put your best foot forward moving forward. So it's just a learning experience, as that's what I would say. So that's 2 points I would make. Don't be in that negative frame of mind, and then learn from what you're going through.
It's real.
True.
Before I comment on that, shout out to LSW in the chat. We see you there, man. Shout out to Brandy. She came in the chat here. Shout out to Camille in the chat. Pedro, we see you. That's big though about Instagram. I mentioned that many before on many shows that Instagram is the biggest dating app. It ain't just social media anymore. So guys are sliding in the DMs. That's a big thing as well. Shout out to everybody, and also too for everybody in the chat. If you got questions, drop them in there. We want to hear what you guys got to say as well. You guys having side comments, but we want to know what's going on. JD,
Hit that like button too.
yes. Oh yeah, HBO special. Oh, wait, no. Hey guys, don't say nothing. We got 37, 38, 39. I saw 50 earlier. We need more likes. I'm gonna take 5 seconds. Likes, please. Okay. So JD, you've been waiting there patiently, man. You my man, 50 grand and all, man. So what you got on this? Why men are not approaching women, man?
I don't know if I necessarily want to talk about why men aren't approaching women, but I kind of want to combat the thought of the quote unquote numbers game. I feel as though
you want to combat that?
Yeah, I feel as though personally, it ain't about the numbers. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. You have to have quality. I mean, I could be out there busting down, 17, 18, 19, whatever, 2, 3, whatever. But if I got one that's doing everything that I need, why do I need to have all these? Why do I have to deal with all these quality? I guess if you're out there fishing and you constantly want to put your rod out there looking for a bite, okay, I get it. But when do you stop? A, and then B, what's the use, man? If I'm out there getting numbers by asking over and over and over and over and over, like that's like if eventually somebody's gonna say yes, of course. But I mean, who want to put themselves out there 100 times just to get 12 numbers? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Now, I know that taking that approach would lower my odds, but at least if I'm going after something that I want to go after and that's worth me going after, yeah, it might hurt when I get shot down. But then if I actually go after somebody and then land it, I'm shooting for the stars. You dig?
Very true, JD. But I guess it all depends on what your mission is, because different guys have different missions. And let's keep 100. Most guys' missions, if they single, they out there.
Say it, John.
Trying to make
Say it, John.
Tag them. You know what I'm saying? They out there to get that thing. But then you got some guys that are really looking for that one. But I think it's more that at least give the appearance that they're looking for the volume versus and quantity versus the quality. When it comes to the quality, as you stated, that's what it's all about. It's about meeting that one and she being worth it. But sometimes you got to go through the quantity, the masses, if you will, to find that one. It's like a needle in a haystack. Especially
so is it like a phase or something? You gotta go bust them down, knock them off, bop, 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 bop. Like, I mean, what is it? Like, how does that work?
Hey, Mikey, get in
look
there.
at what King Joffrey said. Rule of thumb.
You quoting royalty now?
Sometimes you got to go out there to soil and royal oats, and a lot of cats, that's what they're doing.
Hopefully, when you go through the masses like that, you're not left with any lingering effects.
True that.
You on mute, Mikey.
You're on mute, Mike.
Mike was explaining on how to properly put on prophylactic.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no, but the problem there is, I think, just going back to the mindset early on concept, right? The thing though is, why are you thinking about quality over quantity? Like, I think that's the worst thing that's so messed up on how guys think that way. And the reason why I think about that is because
why? Because I'm not willing to sell myself for like a
no.
two?
If
just so I can say I did it.
No, if you
Come
see my
on,
comment
man.
down
Come
below,
on.
this is my thing right here. Then why is it that you don't go for quantity of quality women? It's like some guys think about quality over quantity, glass half full, glass half empty. And I'm like, you can always fill the glass whenever it's half full. So I say approach all the as much quality women as possible so that your ratio still is better. The biggest problem is that a lot of men just feel that the beautiful women are not available when it's easier to close a beautiful woman than an ugly one. Because there's so much insecurities that happens a lot, with higher quality women. Lower quality women and brown bagging, if you want to call those type of women, have have all these anger and animosity while they're not being approached. And just to go to what Pedro said early on today, it's not about the rejection, it's the attitude that's given during the rejection is one of the biggest problems. How women reject men. Back in the days, if a woman's gonna reject a man, she's gonna say, you know what, I'm not interested. But no, now it's like, F off. I'm with my girls. You know, and with this whole aspect of how women nowadays expect to be treated like queens. My thing is that, who the heck are you to be treated like a queen? Before you can become a queen, you have to have a king. So these people that say, okay, before you can approach me, I want you to treat me like a queen. When she doesn't really want a king, she wants royal subjects.
You talking like somebody who don't have a daughter.
Mars.
Because when I think about my daughter, yeah, I want her to be treated like a queen from the
And she
jump,
needs to be, and she
from the
needs to
very
be,
beginning.
and she can be a queen.
No matter what.
She can learn how to do so without having a king too.
But
Okay, so the queen in the room is ready to say something. Couple of things.
Go ahead.
25 minutes into the conversation, we start talking about ugly, low quality. You know, 25 minutes in, I was timing you, Mikey. I was timing you. Here's my concern, right? How you get shut down shouldn't matter because you don't know this person, right? Now, I'm not saying somebody should ever touch you or disrespect you, right? You should stand up for yourself if you've been disrespected. And that's where I tend to say, hey, you know, let's draw that line and not disrespect each other. But there are some men who approach women in such a way that even in their approach, I've had a man walk up to me flat out saying it as a compliment, "What's up, B?" The whole, like, just disrespecting me out of the very beginning. So I just think how we approach each other is disrespectful from day one in many instances. Also, we're making a lot of assumptions here. If you see a woman who's attractive, a lot of the time people might see a woman who's attractive to them. Attractiveness is relative.
No.
It's attractive to you, and it is relative.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
That's what women think.
Wow, Mike.
That's attractive is not relative.
No.
It's cultural.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, don't give me this whole cultural thing, because you know what? We're the buyers. We're the consumers of the goods. We determine what a woman's value is in regards for looks.
So some men like a size 8 and some men like a size 2. That's relative to what the man likes.
Okay, no, the whole men liking the size 8, it's a very small quantity. So let's not go ahead and go there.
In certain cultures. Certain cultures.
No. We are in the United States of America, where how it is. Don't give me this. Once again,
I ain't with a toothpick now. I can't deal with a toothpick.
Hold on.
I ain't trying to break a toothpick.
The whole general thing. I'm sorry. You know, that's just the whole truth. Women start using this whole stuff. Well, you know what? I determine beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. No, it's in my eyes. It's in the guy's eyes. And I'm sorry to say, if I say a girl's a 7, more than likely, another man is going to say +1, -1 in her level. Women want to say, like, how many women are you going to do? You're going to call and you're going to talk to? You're going to say, like, I'm a 10. Really? You're a supermodel?
But when we going back to the point I was trying to make about the shooting of the shot, right? So law of averages, I get that we shoot our shot. The problem I have is men are no longer willing to take the risk. So what they do is they kind of just cancel it. They look across the room and kind of cancel it out. Now, what Mikey was saying is, if you want quality, you could go to a place where you can meet a quality woman. But men sometimes don't want that. They don't necessarily want the woman who's competent. They want the woman that's a damsel in distress. They got to rescue her. She doesn't have her stuff put together. But the woman who does have her stuff put together, she seems like she's demanding. They make assumptions about her. She's probably difficult. She's probably so, needy. I'm going to have to check in all the time. Oh, so her standards. So many times those women don't get asked out. That's a fact. You're going to ask out the woman that seems easier. You want to land the plane, right? So many times what we're walking into is law of averages. If I keep trying to go after the woman that I'm going to have to meet her parents, go to events with her, it may not be worth my while. So men they tend to shoot their shot at women that they think would be a little bit easier to get. And that's really how the law of averages work. When we get into apps like Bumble and we get into Tinder, where you have a relative level of control over what you find attractive, and you can discriminate on superficiality until you get to know somebody, you can swipe as much as you want to. You can reject in real life. And we like to reject in real life behind closed doors. We do that. That's why people lurk on your page. That's how people are in the comments talking crap, because they get the opportunity to say this behind a wall. So at the end of the day, when it boils down to now we're moving into on-demand culture. Our on-demand culture says, I don't want to shoot my shot 100 times in a bar. I'm going to shoot my shot in the DM. I'm going to shoot my shot on LinkedIn. I'm going to shoot my shot online. And that's where it's headed.
And that's the problem, is because, DM, sliding into DM is a woman's world, because you guys get to be able to determine and choose what happens. That's the biggest problem with this kind of stuff. And you were talking about earlier on regarding how, women who's more distinguished, who's more whatever, is a man's not going to approach them. No, we have to go back to just the basics. It's not that men go after the damsel in distress. We don't do that. The men go below. We go down. We're not going to go after somebody who we feel is above us in certain things. And most of the time, okay? So guys will always date down, women date up. It's the truth. So it's not about the damsel in distress, because the truth is, if I met a damsel in distress, I'll be like, red flag, she got problems. So I'm not going to approach that.
You're alone on that.
No one's going to approach a damsel in distress. Ask any guy. I'm not here to be like,
It depends on if she worth being saving. That's the problem.
Jade,
I mean,
so
you have to.
wait, JD, hold on, no. You out here Captain Save him over here?
No, I'm not Captain Saving, but if she worth it, I'm saving.
Really
If she's
Everybody
worth it,
got
I'm
issues.
saving.
Everybody got issues. Everybody.
If you see the issues from Jump Street, you being Captain Save them. You need to run away. Go the opposite direction. If they're that evident in your face, JD,
How do you
needs
know
to be
she's
Captain
worth it?
Save them.
Because she's an 8, she's a 9, then she's worth it.
No. If it's somebody who's been through a lot, they might have some things that have,
How do
changed
you
them
know?
in their
Did
past.
you meet
And
her
they've been.
job, JD.
Say that again. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
That's not
Did
your
you
job,
meet him yet?
JD.
Why couldn't it be my job? It could
Because
be my
you-
job.
because
If
that's
she's
a-
worth it, it's my job.
You're a
How
girl.
can
She's
you
a
determine value? You don't even know her yet. You can't even approach her yet.
Okay.
if she's got
Okay.
damsel
Well,
distress.
that's where we're differing at, because I'm thinking
Okay.
a little bit further down the line. If we're talking about like initially, yeah, that's a turn off initially. If somebody is coming at me and I can detect early on that they're looking for somebody who might need to save them. And Charles, I'm not taking off my hat.
Now he said
Okay,
he meant
the
he meant
hat
to say
stays on,
he meant to
bro.
say your cape. He's trying to say you caping. But go ahead, JD. Go ahead.
yeah.
I'm not taking out the hat or my cape. Okay.
The cape.
And
go
I'm
with
not
the
capping.
hat.
I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. This is legit though. It's,
No cap.
if she is worth it, I truly believe that there are a lot of people out there who have been damaged. And like I said, I'm thinking a little bit further down the line from initial, meetings.
Yeah.
But if
you
we're
don't put all
talking
your
about just
cards on
like
the table at
initially,
first.
yeah, if we're talking about just initially, yeah, that's a turnoff. But I mean, you still may be able to feel like you want to extract some worth from that. And I'm not talking about worth like, tonight worth, but like longer term worth. Give it a second date, give it a third date. You have to determine that. And I think that if you just constantly blow by people and just say, nah, that's not worth it. Like, I think you might pass up on something that was worth it.
So Jay, you're telling me that the high value man that you are, work hard. I mean, they got
Yes,
you
sir.
grinding, got your promotion, you getting the bag now, you got your hat on, looking smooth and suave and clean.
I had the hat when I was broke too, though.
Yeah, your family's happy, your lady's happy, and everything like that. But let's say that you were single. You tell me you're gonna take all these qualities of being a hardworking man, and you're gonna try to repair that woman too. You're saying that's your job to repair
off jump, like from the very beginning.
No. I'm saying off jump. I'm saying you're saying like 3 or 4 dates in. You're dating and you're seeing this here, and you're saying off the rip that I can save this one. I can help her.
I'm
JD.
Sometimes no. It's not like that. But if it's not like that, but if there are qualities that need to be cultivated, I could be the gardener.
Shout out to Roy.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Roy Jones. JD playing superhero here. Shout out to Charles Robinson. Exactly. We like that here. JD, reason why I brought that up is because that any person, whether it's man or woman, has got problems like that. If a woman, you see this from a dude as well, that person needs therapy and a doctor. You run away. You can't help that person. Person's going to get help till they get them help themselves. That's why we can't be Captain Save-ems. And women, you cannot mold a man and think that he has, that potential. A person's only going to want it when they want it. And of course, people need professional help like we all do. So we can't be Captain Save-em because you out here spending your time, your money, your resources, and your mentality. And that person's going to leave as soon as they get right sometimes because you don't know that person right.
I have a quick question. The way you stated that, Dave, it sounds like a very declarative statement and a very kind of black and white statement. We all have baggage, right? So
Facts.
You have to determine which baggage you can handle.
But
Because
it's not our job to fix someone though.
I know. I'm not saying fixing anybody. Yeah, I totally agree. It's not your job.
That's
to
what I'm
fix
getting
somebody.
at. That though, like we see that, and it's like, yo, there's, and as people, we're not professionals. We can give love, support, but if you see something that is way beyond your realm, as people, especially as men, we think we can help everybody. You know, like, especially if we got our own household, we taking care of our business. We think we can do what we want to do, but sometimes we gotta recognize our limitations. We gotta pull back and say, you know what? Nah, shorty ain't right for me right now. Because you know,
maybe your back ain't strong enough, bro.
She got to get it right, you know. Because so she get it right, then I got to do me here. You know,
but that goes both ways because I'm sure women see certain men as a project. Okay, he has a baby mama. How am I going to navigate the baby mama? He has this. He has this. How am I going to navigate this? So I'm trying to figure out, babe. I'm trying to get.
But that's what women are. Women in general, not all, but a good majority. You see that they work with potential. A lot of women say, "What's this man's potential?" So yes, they are about fixing. You know, I'm not going to use the words, but you know, Captain Fix a D, whatever. I mean, so it's like that's women look at men at potential. That's, you know, what can he change? I mean, that's why you see sometimes these girls with the bad boys, right? They like because of that feeling of like, well, if I can save him and change him to be the man that I always wanted, that's the biggest problem right there. But for guys wise, it's a complete different. I mean, that's just how it is. Women like to fix men. Every woman that gets a man, she always says, I'm gonna go fix this guy. But the thing though is, most men you cannot change, especially if you're above 30. Once you're after 27, you can't really change the dynamics of a person as much anymore. Their brain is already done. And so the problem is with a lot of people is like, I want to fix him. I want to change him. And you know, and that is where we have problems that exists, is because it's about potential. Whereas us guys, we just want somebody's cooperative. That's why we date down, because if we date up, there's a high potential that that person is going to want us to try to move up to that level when we already settled in. I'm not talking about guys that are in their 20s. That's a whole different issue. I'm talking if you are in your 30s, dating and stuff like that. That's the thing. Look at every woman has this whole thing about, you know, this that love of their life, you know, soulmate. And I hear a lot of girls saying, oh, you know, I'm looking for my, you know, I believe in a soulmate. And I was like, well, weren't you married twice already? So weren't those two people your soulmates? You know, so it's like.
And not to interrupt you, Mikey, you said something really critical. Mikey, you said if you date a woman who you date up, it's easier to date down because that woman you date up, she's going to, sounds to me like you're saying expectations. She's going to want you to start doing all these things. And that's the problem. Sometimes we don't want to, you know, mirror the other person. So maybe I can't meet her expectations. Maybe I feel inadequate, so I'm just gonna go down here. Let me get easier to meet those expectations.
I got to get on this one though. It's not about expectations. Hey, let me get in, Mikey. It's about cooperation and peace. We get to a certain status, and maybe Mike's gonna get to us here. We're already settled into our career. We're talking about in our 30s and our 40s, not the young status here. We can get to that in another conversation. But if we're into our 30s or 40s, or maybe in our 50s, who's watching the show here, we're settled into our career. We're working and we're grinding. We already got something in place. Why are we leveling up to someone who's trying to make us get to another plateau? We already hit our plateau. We already have our plan in place before a woman came in place here. We're looking for that companion, someone who's going to give us peace, cooperation, who is on our plan. And then our plan becomes, my plan and your plan becomes our plan. So when we're looking at someone going down, because we already got our plan in place. We looking for that co-pilot to kick in and say, hey, ready for this ride? Let's get ready for this ride. Let's get on in. What you got, Mike?
I said, don't try to change us.
Thank you.
We settled down. We're here now. And for my thing, for me wise, to be honest, I always believe in shooting my shots above. I will, but let's just look at basic for how men are. They're not going to do that. That's why these, you know, these educated women, you know, that's flaunting their degrees and all that stuff, think that they can now find that man when they just literally left most men behind. That's why their dating pool is no longer large. And so that's the biggest problem. So now what a lot of these women, when they get desperate, they go, okay, I can't find my six-figure man. Remember the triple sixes, you know, and the fourth six is the, you know, the six-pack abs. If they can't find that above no more, then they get desperate, then they go down low. But then what they say is like, well, if I'm making six figures, I'm going to have a man, I'm going to have him try to figure out. They should maybe go get an education. Maybe they need to level them up. Why are you trying to do that? Why would a woman want that in a man? Now, I get it. Do you want them to be better? Do you want them to reach the potential that you want? But the thing, though, is one of the biggest mistakes women do is you should never try to change a man for who he already accepted who he is. And why are women doing that? To reach their potential, what they want? And I just think that is completely wrong. And it's not about it's not about expectations. It's about what we see in reality. Like, I reach always for somebody who looks good. I don't give a crap if I get shot down or not. I don't care if they're a doctor. I'll go do whatever I want to, but because I already know myself and I can, they may see in numbers that they're better than me, but I know I can shoot my shot with that. But some people, most men on average, are not going to do that. Like, how many doctors do I know who complain that they're single? And they ask me, why are no guys approaching? Because you're a doctor. Stop using the name doctor before your first name if you're single.
Where do these rules come from, bro? Where do you get these rules from?
Yeah, that's
What book are you reading?
Yeah,
what book is this?
It's just living and dating and being around in the system already enough. I've been around and stuff like that. Women who goes, it's like, why are you telling me you're a doctor and we're in a bar? Why do I need to know that?
Because she is.
The guy who's flashing around his car keys. It's the same thing. He's flashing around his Porsche keys and his Lamborghini keys. The same thing. These are people who might be insecure.
Thank you for bringing that up. You want to know why you just did right there? Why do women go after those guys then? Don't give me those guys, because those guys are fake people. If they will flash you with their money and women jump on that and they're going to complain about it later, you can't complain about those guys. You can't use that among regular men that do not mostly own Porsches, that don't own Lamborghinis, that don't flash that stuff. You can't bring that in this type of a conversation, because those are the very outliers. The six-figure guys are complete outliers. The way they do the dating is completely different.
But the point I'm making is that person who's sitting there in the bar trying to meet people but talking about their career is trying to stand on their career, right?
And so, women shouldn't stand on their career to.
But I'm saying I agree. If you're trying to get to know me, what I do for a living should not be the most important thing. So I'm not going to start with that. In fact, that's not about you. When I'm off and I'm not at work, I don't want to talk about what I do. I want to talk about who I am. And so if a man walks up to me and he's flashing his car keys, I also think he doesn't have anything else going for him. So I'm not interested anyway. But what I do want to talk about is when we are approaching people, sometimes we send out the representative. You might not meet the real person for weeks because you got to meet the representative, and the representative puts on and they love bomb you, where they're doing everything that they think you want to do, and they study your profile on your Instagram and know what book you like to read and pay attention to what songs you listen to. Trust me, it is psychological and it is sick. But one of the things that happens is when the representative leaves, you get to know the real person. Now you're wondering, did I miss all of this? This person needs to show up this way for me, and now they're ghosting me, or this person needs to communicate one way or another. I think that we need to come forward with who we are up front and let people choose. And if you don't want it, it's not even about being personal anymore. Thank you for the data. I'm not interested. And then accept that rejection, because now I got data. I'm rejecting the data in front of me. It's not.
That's good.
It's not being petty, right? But what happens is when you meet the rep and the rep comes in with all the things that every woman would love, like they've been studying this, and I found out they have been studying it because there's a whole course on YouTube, a master's degree on how to play people. These red pill, blue pill guys, 10 ways for alpha males to land 25 women.
Oh boy.
You're coming to my world right now.
Hold on.
Go
back to our corners, people.
Let's go do this, right?
Let's
So this is the biggest problem. If you start, this whole thing about red pill, blue pill, and all that stuff, we can go into that stuff. But the thing though is, it's like, look, women already have, unfortunately, have silenced men for so long already. Women have done that. And we had this conversation before where we talked about how how there is no representation for men in media. None. There's no show out there. The only show that was ever made for men was the Man Show. By the second year, they replaced the producer with a woman. So then it pretty much just died. There's no representation. What does a dictator do? A dictator, the first thing to take over in any country is they stifle the media. They control the narrative. There hasn't been any narrative for men lately. at all within the past 50 years or so in TV and everything. So with that fact and with that statement right there, that's why women are getting upset right now, because the men are now talking. YouTube created this vacuum where now men can actually have a conversation. And then what you see is this plethora of women writing these articles that are really good in blogs. So that's what you're seeing in the Google search. Google search talking about how the misogynistic red pill, blue pill movement is such a bad thing. But what the funniest thing that you're actually going to see, one of the biggest feminist defender who actually interviewed all of these MRA guys, right? All these MRAs. And if you guys don't know what an MRA, right? It's pretty easy to be able to look at. It's the men rights activist or men rights movement.
Jesus.
She interviewed every single one of them. And lo and behold, after that, she became someone that defended men.
Whoever took men's rights? I'm confused. Why is there even a need for a men's rights group?
Let's
go.
Before Zoe, before Mike, hey, before you answer that, and Zoe, I see your face there. I understand that. I see the chat's looking a little bit triggered as well. So I just want to take a pause for the cause here for a second. First of all, HBO break. Help brother out special. Click them likes there, people. We need that for Jump Off Live here. Also for the ladies that are chatting here, yes, we're gonna have more women on the show. Don't worry about it. We looking for women who want, to give the smoke and want to smoke as well. So don't worry, ladies. We having these good, hard conversations and dialogue here. So shout out to the chat. We got Mark, Ashley Shaw. We see you. You putting in that work here. We see you there.
Go Ashley. That's my girl.
Oh, that's your girl. Okay. Yes. We got Pedro putting in. We got, like I said, Mark doing his thing here. So I wanted to, before we got heat into that there, I know John's been sitting there for a hot second. He's been circling. I know you have something to add on here, man. So what you got to add before we go down this red pill, blue pill discussion?
Yeah, man. I just I want to take a moment to get a little serious right now, and we need to acknowledge syndromes and diseases that are occurring out there. I know Dr. Zoe can appreciate this. There's a syndrome out there called Trey syndrome that women are leaving men with. There's a lot of guys out there that are afraid of rejection. They can't handle it. They may handle it okay when they first approach the lady and the lady turns them down. But I just want to show you guys the results of Trey syndrome after you reject a man. When you tell him no, when you give him the B box, you don't even want time of day for me. This is Trey syndrome right here. I just want y'all to see that right there. It's a lot of men going home swinging at the air, man, after being rejected by you ladies. And there's only a few of y'all that feel like this young lady did. You see how hurt he is? So when the next time a brother approaches y'all, just realize when you tell him no and give him the B box and spit all on him, that he goes home and has a Trey syndrome breakdown. Yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick. But on the lighter note, Jump Off Live, of course, we always have sponsors, people beating down our doors to share with us their product. And today, on the Jump Off Live, here's a special sponsor that most of you that tune in all the time are.
For snitches, it's Master Do You here, self-certified life coach and self-made thousandaire. I was born in the slums of the jungles where I was forced to eat meager meals like snail shell soup and snake ear sandwiches. Needless to say, the bottom of my belly stayed on empty. I was always hungry. It wasn't until I went off to Dojo College when I was introduced to top ramen noodles. I must have eaten 1 million bags in my lifetime. Breakfast, lunch, brunch, and dinner, and sometimes a snack. Eventually, the flavors became whack. Today, I am proud to introduce my own innovation. Started from the bottom, ramen noodles. Bottom ramen noodles come in a countless variety of flavors to include the people's choices like gumbo, for that southern bayou within you. Just don't look for any shrimp because you won't find any. Flaming hot flavor for that hood kick. Hot links and tips for the fat boy that lives within you. And last but not least, filet meat not. Tastes like steak, but it does not have meat in it. That's for all you herbivores and dandelion eaters. Even though there is no nutritional value in bottom ramen noodles, they are packed with plenty of optimism. Great for your belly, and it keeps you full for a minimum of 24 hours. So whether you are that starving link card carrier or that late night lush arriving at home drunk as a skunk off that good wolf wine, bottom ramen noodles will fill that vacant space in your tummy until you can replace it with something beneficial for your body. This is Master Do You reminding you to never doubt yourself and to always do you. Bottom ramen noodles. Go get you some. Buy 2, get 20 packs free. Jump off!
Master Do You, y'all.
2 will get you 20. 2 will
get
get you 20.
Where else you gonna go and get that? Bottom ramen noodles. JD, what you think, man?
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Oh man, John. I'm gonna say on that one. Shout out to Do You. How Do You doing these days? Have you talked to him besides the ad? I'm just kind of curious before we get into this heavy discussion that's about to get super serious here. The chat's popping right now. How's Do You doing, man? I know you probably got an update.
Man. He's doing great. I think the last time he was on the show, he was talking about how he was possibly the baby's father to Benji and all of that. He found out that he's not the father, you know.
Oh, wow.
So he was devastated for a little while. Yeah.
But he came up though.
He did. The money that he was going to spend on child support, he ended up investing in himself and created bottom ramen noodles.
You see that, fellas?
Yeah.
You see that, fellas? Get out of paternity suit and start your own company.
Man.
All right. So as we get back, oh man, the chat is going on here. Charles Robinson, you funny as ever, man. Hey, shout out to Eduardo. We gotta talk, man. What's up with these views on Zingo? Are we popping over there, Eduardo? What's going on? You gave us a hot number, and these new shows been coming on, man. We gotta talk after the show, Eduardo. Shout out to Canada.
Yeah, what's the data? I want the data.
Yeah, we need the numbers, man. You talk about these advertisers here, yo. We need a check, Eduardo.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know, we putting in hard work here. Jump off live, people. You know, it's Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got Dr. Zoe, we got Johnny Daniels, we got Jeff, we got JD, Myk E. Yo, we here. I'm that dude named Dave. So here we are. We're gonna keep this discussion going here. We were talking about why men are not approaching women, but start getting a little bit heated there for a second. We started going into about the red pill. Do everybody in the chat know what the red pill is? I want to see what the chat says while we're talking here. Chat, do you know what red pill means? And if you're a man, are you red pill? Are you blue pill? Are you purple pill? So let's open it up to our crew here. Mikey's our resident expert, and then we're going to throw it up here. As far as this here, Mikey, you've been part of the red pill community, kind of, sort of in there. I don't say your feet. You 10 feet in 10 feet waters here for about a good decade plus, right?
Since
Maybe
2007.
2007. Oh, longer than that. Oh man. Okay. So Mikey been in this game for about 14 years, man. So red pill life, So Mikey, can you tell us in a few quick sentences about this red pill life?
Not in a few sentences, we can cut it short. But what I want to hear is Dr. Zoe, because she went there with the red pill. I want to know what she learned through her trying to jump into the rabbit hole of what do you know? What's your consideration of what the red pill is? And this is where the dangerous water starts happening, where it's unfortunate where people honestly miss. You guys will group people. You guys want to group the people, group us, whatever. But go ahead and tell me what you know about the red pill, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it is. So then maybe if I can share something with you that would be like, oh crap, I actually got misinformed, but it is, then maybe then I can break certain things. So tell me what you know about a red pill that you learned, because I'll tell you the first 3 pages of Google is pretty much almost completely wrong when it comes to that.
Okay, so what I learned was from YouTube. Shout out to YouTube University. So the red pill and blue pill. The video I saw was red pill, blue pill, purple pill, and it was kind of describing the somewhat alpha male who might decide that he doesn't necessarily need to be in a relationship to feel that value, and doesn't necessarily have to have that connection, and is okay dating multiple women and exercising his right to choose and his options. The blue pill is the guy who some people might consider beta, but not necessarily beta, but somebody who feels like they are better off in a relationship, and might understand that they have to give up and compromise on some of the things, that their options they may have to let go of in order to be in that relationship. And it seemed like purple pill was a blend.
So what does the person have to give up if they're blue pill?
So, if you're going to choose to be in a relationship because that's where you feel happy, then you're probably going to A, give up some of the respect of other men because you may not be able to hang out with some of the other men. B, you give up some of those options, such as being able to sleep with random women, because that doesn't work with you being in a relationship. And you may also have to, compromise on how you even view job transfers and all these other things. You really have to look into partnering with somebody else. So that's kind of what I understood from red pill.
Okay, perfect. So you took that assessment of what you learned with the YouTube Academy, and then you made that statement about red pill and blue pill early on today. Is it right, or is it fair to be able to go ahead and just judge that right away automatically by just reading something that's brand new to your that came about in front of you?
I made no judgment about it. I just said we are in a place where we're not even understanding each other. That's where now we're in red pill, blue pill, right? I didn't say which one. I didn't say one's good, one's bad.
No, the way you that's why I opened up my mouth earlier when about whoa, and I yelled out because what you said. So I just want to be able to. I don't think you remember what you said in that, but we'll put that in the side. So unfortunately, it's like that's where we start seeing a lot of the biggest problem with the red pill and blue pill movement, or what people and how women think about it. Now, this is part of the whole manosphere where a lot of people talk about is about this. Now, just like in any movement or any organization, there's going to be people that unfortunately take it to the next level. They unfortunately hijack something. Just like when I talk about the Me Too movement, it was a good cause that got hijacked by some people that unfortunately just made it even worse, right? But the origination of it is just where it's pure and it's actually, I believe in it. I believe in Me Too, but I just don't believe in the people that overdid it. So it's just funny how the moment that men started gathering and having this movement, women are like, no, you guys can't, no, you guys can't talk about that stuff. That's messed up. Now, the red pill was originated mainly by what they call the pickup community. Pickup community is like a bunch of kids, a bunch of guys that just can't find a woman, like because of the status of how women prefer in dating. Men didn't learn how to date. Most men, unfortunately, either didn't grow up with their fathers, or their father didn't even know how to teach them how to be able to meet women. So a lot of men in the first original red pill community learned how to be able to approach women. That is the pickup community. They learn, I'll say tricks, tips and tactics. Just because it's a trick, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But they were able to escalate, because these are the kids that lived in their mother's basement, that had no idea how to do it. And there was a small community of pickup artists that showed people how to be able to approach women. Now, just like as anything else, people then realized, like, wow, I can actually abuse this power, and actually I can play around with women. So you have that. That's the original red pill. It's the original red pill community around that time. What happened was then you have a bunch of fractions now. So just thinking about what the red pill and blue pill is, it's based out of the matrix. The blue pill is people just literally staying in the matrix, meaning they don't know what's really going on out there. Red pill is the discovery of the whole aspect, and some guys are going to be disagreeing with me on this, but I don't have enough time to explain the whole stuff. But it's just the understanding of the hypergamous measure of how women are, and unfortunately, what we're starting to see is a large growth of misandry, where prejudice and contempt for women. There's a person that literally wrote right now in your chat, okay, where she said, women shouldn't have to defend men. Okay, in your chat right now, women don't have to defend men. And that's the biggest problem, is that women have stopped this. The women have realization how it is right now. Women want this whole chivalry thing, yet don't want to do traditional things still. Women want, there's all these expectations of men. And now we start going with the aspect with this whole, equality problem between women. When we start having this, problems with just all these different things where women have taken over. And no one's going to admit that situation, but it has. Men are unfortunately, this whole belief that women will start talking about patriarchal stuff and how men are taking over. There's so much stuff that men has done. It's so bad that now you have a TV show called Why to try to prove that women can live without men existing. It's a new TV show that just got.
What's the name of the show? What's the name of the show,
Why?
Mike?
Why the Last Man? Right? So when you start talking about how Kevin Samuel said when Thanos snaps his finger and all of a sudden all the men are gone, this is the theory. This is the show that happens. And so because of that movement, now you have red pill starting moving up. And then you have what a lot of people call the grandfather of the red pill movement, which is Rollo Tomasi. He wrote the book Rational Male. Okay, a lot of people feel that he's actually the head of red pill, but no, he in an interview has stated that red pill started with the pickup artistry. But now you have red pill is just understanding how women's nature is. And the thing though is understanding women's nature is the best thing ever, because if you can understand women, then you can actually work with women. But then there's a lot of guys who just gave up working with women. And that's why you're starting to see a lot of the guys removing themselves and not even wanting to approach women no more. So the red pill is just understanding how women nature are. The guys who are in the blue pill are stuck in the matrix, just like in the matrix. If you didn't take the red pill, you're stuck in that reality, or ignorance is bliss. Okay? And so those are the guys that get stepped on. Those are the guys that get taken advantage of. Those are the guys, some people will call them beta males, but I refuse to do that, because there's a lot of people who are alpha-isk who don't understand women nature. And that's the problem as well. It's understanding how to be able to talk to women. There's guys now, what they call in the MGTOW unit, okay, where now it's called men going their own way. Those are the guys that are now swearing off women. But what they are really swearing off is relationships, because it's an unfair advantage for them. When you start talking about women, 33% of women go to dates with guys just for them to be fed.
40 dates, 40 calls. Okay.
And then you start talking about, there's just so much stuff stacked up against men. 93% of deaths in workplace deaths are all men. Yet women want equality on workplaces. Women want equality in outcome, not opportunity. Women want the C-suites locations. Now, I'm for women pushing for C-suites. I think women should have power on being able to get good jobs. But at the very same time, when's the last time you actually spoke to a woman that says, we need to get more women in construction. We need to get more women as trash collectors. There are, but there's not that much. You have the STEMs and stuff like that. Look at the Scandinavian, countries. They try to make it easy to be able to say the equality of men and women. But what ended up happening at that stuff when they gave the equality of equal pay, all that stuff, women still chose jobs in nursing, in teaching. It didn't matter, because women are going to go to their nature. So understanding nature of women is where the red pill movement is. But that's the thing, because a lot of guys, unfortunately, have been hurt by women. It's that whole Cinderella effect that you guys grew up with. A lot of women will start talking about, why can't I find a man? No, you already found your man. You just dumped him a long time ago.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Because you said a lot there. How much of this, how much of these quote unquote issues that are going on, reasons why women are acting the way they're acting, or and leading to men's reaction to it, how much of this is related to the fact that women have been shitted on for centuries, and
okay.
ever since mankind, you know what I mean? Like that, it's
sure.
interesting, because it's like a.
Explain to me what shitted on means.
Exactly what I said. Shitted on for centuries. You can break that down however you want to. Women have been treated unfairly.
Give me an example.
Throughout history.
Give me an example. Let's
pay, laws, rights.
Okay.
Civil rights.
Sure.
The list goes
Forced
on
into sex work.
Yes,
So
forced into sex work,
so right
slavery,
now, for example, slavery,
property,
that's both sides, right? So
considered
let's
property, things
No,
like that.
so
don't say
okay,
both sides. But continue.
yeah. So let's go look at that, right? So yes, do I believe that those things happen? Like, here's my thing, right? Women's movement, first wave of the women's movement is a pinnacle thing, and I think that it was needed. I think women should have the rights to vote. I think, and if you're talking about pay gap, it's equal. It's been debunked already. Just because on numbers it says 70% of women about makes 30% less than men, it's been debunked. You cannot go ahead and tell me that women get paid less without looking at all the different aspects of why the pay is lower. And at the very same time as the men work more hours. And that's the study with that. So if you start looking at that, and also men are required to actually work more longer hours, and all at the same time as we work the heavier jobs, and men die earlier than women. So when you start looking at all the different categories and how everything is, the studies are out there that whole pay gap is debunked. Why is that stated? Is because at the very same time it should not be just separated on a study between a man and a woman. You need to look at how old they are. You need to be able to look at what's their qualification. You need to be able to look at how good of a worker are they. If we're going to make a study just based on men and women working, that is an unfair way to actually do a study. It's completely, and go ahead and look up the research. It's already been debunked. But women, the fighters who are going to say, no, men and women have a big age gap.
And let me
have a big wage gap.
And let me add too on that wage gap thing, as far as like the pay, we have to look at when you look at the research and data, the jobs that the men and women are actually doing that Mikey is actually commenting on. When we look at the majority of jobs that women are doing, it's mostly in the humanities. It's also, work like that, whether in social work, things of that nature. Either jobs that, and I've seen this firsthand, where women go get their degrees and have $100 worth of debt, and they only pay them $40,000, $50,000 a year. And we have a large segment. That's one example, of course. I just want to point to that point before Mikey continues. But we have a large segment of people, especially women, who go into the wrong fields and accumulate this debt, and they are working, making money, but not in the fields that pay money. So that goes into the stats of the wage gap, where that you have a woman saying they're making only $40,000, but what field did they go into? And we got to look at those deeper numbers too, and just not look at just a baseline that this person makes this much and this person makes this much. So there's further data that Michael talks about too as well.
Yeah, those are good points. I'm just saying in totality, not just. I'm just talking about totality for centuries and centuries and centuries. They've been shitted on.
And it
so here's the thing, right? So it's when we start going like, oh, but all these centuries. Look, I didn't do that to the people 100 years ago. We're living right now.
That's not
right?
of course.
So we at this moment we have the laws in place of equal, be able to vote, all that different stuff. We're right there right now. But what ends up happening is you want more. That's perfectly fine. The thing though is also in the workforce when it comes to that basic stuff. Listen, look, I respect women. The fact when the fact that they have to be pregnant, hold the child, be able to all that. I understand all that stuff. But if you start looking at in a base of business and stuff like that, if a woman, if she goes on leave, which she has the rights, but under business stuff in regards for pay, equal pay, and all those kind of things, it balances it out. Men will die 5 years, right? We die a difference of about 5 years between women on death rates, right? That's because men do more. We do more work. We work on our bodies.
So in a lot of ways, we're going to talk about some of the health outcomes.
Sure.
Men also have higher risk behaviors, right?
Exactly.
Right. Higher risk behaviors that are optional choices. We're not even talking about, we don't even want to get into childbirth that impacts women's lives. But men also live longer, even if they're not married and just have a daughter. Having a woman around makes men overall healthier. The other part of it too is, a couple comments when we talk about the idea that, oh, well, men need this space. Men have not been heard. Men have been hushed. What? I keep wondering, who's hushing men? Did y'all crawl somewhere and women took your voice? I don't think that the reason why you don't see this space for men on television the way that you might see for women is women buy products. I spent money on this hair. You didn't spend as much money on any of you. Any of you didn't spend as much money on my entire outfit, what you did. Women spend coins, so therefore TV will be full of shows targeting to women. So don't make it seem like just because you're not on TV on the box, you're not heard. You have your spaces.
No,
Nobody silenced men. Nobody silenced.
Let Zoe finish. I would say let Zoe finish, fellas. Let Zoe finish her
But
point,
what I
because I
think
know Mikey
happened
had a
is
long
that
point too. Let her finish.
What may have happened is once women had an opportunity to now speak, then there became a big issue, as though, because the things that were being said that were offensive, the grabbing by the, what he said, women are now calling for action against that kind of behavior. Women are now rallying together and saying, you can't disrespect me anymore. And so men now are being silenced because now they have to be a little bit more politically correct. Nobody said you can't talk, but you may have to remember who you're talking to. You may have to check yourself at the door a little bit. That doesn't mean you're being silenced. We're just asking you for that equal respect. So when people like Donald Trump go around and saying what he said about women, how I could sleep with any of these women in here, and men go around and call women and say, oh, you must be on your period, an educated woman who's interviewing someone. I mean, those things have to be checked. And that's okay to be checked, because women never even had a space where we could say, you can't talk to me that way. I just think that when you talk about equal pay, you talk about women's rights, and then you preface it as men need a space to be able to go speak. You've always had that. Have you seen a TV show, Mad Men? Have you seen Mad Men, which is just a replica of what was happening in the 30s? I mean, it's just, we are saying now, like, men are
not shows.
Where is the space for black men, Zoe?
No. Don't give me the stuff with, like, something with the director and go ahead and no. Tell me something where men are allowed to be able to speak. Don't give me the stuff about actors and acting and stuff like that. Give me a position where some men can actually.
Didn't you bring up TV, bro? When you don't want to talk about there weren't shows for men?
Yeah, give me the shows.
Where the men
I mean, but you just told her that she couldn't, and she did.
No. What I'm talking about is real conversations, men conversations.
You just moved the goalpost, but it's all good.
I'm not.
This is what we're talking about. Where are the men shows?
What I've been talking about is a conversation when men can have a conversation, not when we're talking about, it's men on men talking, not about TV shows and stuff. I'm talking about where men can talk. Now, in regards to, of course, women are the reason why, in regards for advertising. I always talk about in regards for, like, where there's a lot of men that unfortunately drop the ball in this whole matter. I don't believe that women, I'm not a misogynistic person where I say where a woman belongs. That's not where I'm coming from in that stuff. But you have to understand that's the thing. There's all this movement and stuff like that of talking about this, like saying men do this, men do that. Now, for the men, they're talking now, but they're talking in other parts of the world now. They're talking in YouTube. They're talking in amongst each other. That's why there's that growth right now. And so if you start seeing stuff when men start talking, this is men. Guys talk differently when it comes to locker rooms. Guys talk differently when it comes to the barbershop. But it's among 5, 6, 7 men only. But now that you have a place like YouTube where men can start talking, you are literally hearing now women interjecting themselves in this conversation and saying, you guys can't talk that way. You need to control yourself.
And JD, you disagree with that?
I don't necessarily disagree with, there are women that feel that way, that feel like, they don't agree with some of the things that are being spoken. I have more issue with the whole idea that there's a lot of divisiveness in this. There's a lot of either or. Like either a man is being put down or he's being built up. A woman is being put down or she's being built up. I don't really think that I think that decisiveness is there to feed these mobs of people. And I've always lived my life believing that divisiveness is something that people impose in order to separate you, in order to keep you apart from what your ultimate goal should be, which is to, pie in the sky, love each other. Like, nah, it doesn't have to be all like that. But I think that there's so much divisiveness rolling around that this is just another example of it. I don't feel like men are being put down. I don't feel like men are being moved over to the side because I don't have a TV show to watch with all guys. Shit, if you want a TV show to watch, you watching one right now with a whole bunch of guys, and we talking about some interesting things on Jump Off Live. Hit that like and subscribe button. But if you feel if there are so many men out there that are feeling this disrespected, like I'm trying to learn and understand. Like I mean, wrap my head around where this disrespect is coming from. Like, where is this feeling of like, it's like if I've been running shit for my entire fucking existence, how can I feel disrespected all of a sudden? Just because a woman decides that she has a voice.
Couple chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, just because she wants to speak up and have her own things and have her own opinions, now all of a sudden we got to be mad and feel like we being disrespected, like somebody cut my fucking balls off. No, my balls ain't being cut off just because I feel a certain way and just because I'm cool with having a woman who can speak her mind as well. Just because I have this inferiority complex against myself because, oh man, she's talking too much. I don't know if I can handle that. That's your fucking problem, dudes. That's your problem. That's your fucked up problem. If you can't handle a woman who can speak her mind, that's your fucking problem. So you need to get that shit together with yourself first and foremost before you start coming at a woman and saying, oh no, you can't talk to me like that. You shouldn't be able to say those things. No, she can say whatever the fuck she want to say. You can too. And if you can't handle being with a woman like that, you need to get your shit together. Grab your sack, get your shit together, and then come at a woman that, you know, or go out and find a woman who's going to be passive for you, who's going to be, you know, walking around and tiptoeing around you. If that's what you want and that's what makes you feel better, I hope you fucking find that. Good luck. Good luck. But that's not the type of woman that I want. That's not what I want. I want somebody who's going to be cool, who's going to be strong enough to be able to speak her mind to me just as much as I can speak my mind to her. It should be 50-50. That's the type of relationship that I want.
No,
I don't know what these other guys are
Cash App. Let me send you some Cash App.
Sure. Oh, no, I said that's the thing right there, right? So you guys are asking me what the red pill movement is. I'm giving you guys some of the basics of what the men are feeling like. It's the direct opposite and the whatever happens in the feminist movement as well. And that's the biggest problem where a lot of people just decided to move left and move right. And my thing is that a lot of men should also, you know, because there's men who want relationships. I want a relationship, but understanding how the thing goes, that's where the middle part happens. And that's where men need to start holding their ground and keeping their frame rather than backing up and quitting. And you have to be able to be there, and you have to be able to understand how it is for, you know, to handle things. And yes, there's nothing wrong with a woman being able to say her thing. There's nothing wrong with a woman getting an education. All that stuff is an important thing. But my thing is that, and that's where you go with the red pill stuff. I mean, the purple pill stuff, where the guys that are deciding that they do understand the mindset of how things are going. And by them understanding that stuff, they're going to stay in the middle and they want to be in their relationships. And they will be there. And that's where the focal point is. But at the very same time, is I have empathy in both sides. For the guys that move on to the left, I understand where they're coming from because I've been in the field. I've been in the part of talking to women. You guys start talking about how many women to approach. I've approached 150 women in average every week. I did that for 3 years. 150 women in 3 years. So I know in the field what you're going to be able to face in times in the sect of where it is in Arizona. So I know, I see how men get rejected all the time, but you have to learn. Most men don't learn how to be able to do that. That's why most men are not good with rejection. Most men are not good with rejection because if you go take it back to the basic core of things of how men are, if you get rejected back in the days, you don't eat.
That's heavy there.
You need to be able to find a woman that's right for you. If you decide as a man to be able to be wanting to find a woman, you have to find the right woman for you. The woman that's going to give you respect and you give respect. I believe in all of that. Will I call out a man if he's acting like a fool with a woman? Of course I'm going to check a man who does that. That's completely wrong. But one thing you don't see is we know this as men because at any time that there is a disagreement, we always come about and say, we know that there's a potential threat of violence between us if we have a disagreement. Women don't have that. Women have, in general, have stopped checking other women because women don't want confrontation. It's in their nature. And when they do confront each other, there is no fear of harm between each other. But men, we will talk and we will come up with the best solution as possible. Name me places where you start hearing women checking other women. There is far from any of that. I think women should be respected. But that problem that I have is when you start seeing what the changes are going on right now, go over the internet. There's a men disrespecting women. But there's way too much more that you're seeing where they're putting down the men. When's the last time you see a bunch of men trying to want to cancel culture a woman's show? It's not going to happen. We're not petty that way.
Hey,
It's a lot.
Hey, John. Yeah, you've been waiting there, man. I want to hear what you got to say on this, man, because I know you've been sitting there patiently waiting.
For sure, man. It's a lot of facts and opinions being dropped on here tonight, and the chat has been beautiful, man. I'm loving all the comments, all the opinions, all the perspectives, all the passion. There's a lot of passion in the comments tonight, and I'm just sitting here soaking it all up and taking it all in, and red pill, blue pill, each side or whatever has had a lot to say and has said some interesting and truthful things. I want to first give a shout out to JD for speaking the way he just spoke, man. I love that, man. You spoke real. I think a lot of people agree with you. A lot of people definitely heard you, man. I love that. I love that fire. Keep that going, baby. Keep that going.
I'm just a little gassy.
Hey, sometimes it takes a little gas to make that fire blaze, baby.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, man, not acknowledging that women have gone through a history of mistreatment and abuse is like saying racism doesn't exist. To me, even in today's time, where we have a vice president as a woman, as a black woman at that, women are still being mistreated. We see it every single day. So let's just put that out there. That's real. That's real. You don't need to look at no numbers, no statistics, no debunking or anything. Women get mistreated, particularly here in America. We need them. Can't live with them, can't live without them. That's what people say, right? Definitely can't live without them. Red pill, blue pill. There's so much encompassed around this concept, this red pill, blue pill. I've been doing research. I've been listening and hearing about different things in regards to red pill, blue pill. Here's the thing. You can choose either side. You can take either of those pills, and they'll attract, once you master that concept, they'll attract the type of woman that you're looking for if you take that red pill or that blue pill. But neither of those pills, taking them, will keep that woman. Neither of those pills will keep that woman. It's like taking medication. It is no shot to you, Dr. Zoe. We know medication is good. It helps people to relieve symptoms and whatnot. But it's like putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. You know, it'll only temporarily patch it up. Medications help you deal with the problem, but it doesn't solve it. It doesn't solve it. Bottom line, a lot of people change the way they move and operate and think and speak and what they do. They change up their swag. They may wear their hat frontwards or backwards, right? Depending on where they are or who they're around, what kind of woman they're trying to attract or who they want to be with, or man, for that matter. Man, everybody in the arena, red pill, blue pill, this is just Johnny Dangerous' perspective. Instead of taking these damn pills, just take a step back. Spend some time to yourself. Learn who you are. Learn what makes you tick. Learn what you don't like, what you do like, what you will put up with, what you won't put up with. Find some type of center, some type of higher power that you can seek towards and meditate and pray on yourself. Build yourself up. That way you walk with this confidence. You exude this positivity to where before you even open your mouth, people see it, they feel it. Your presence is known. Whether you're trying to get a man or a woman or whatever, they feel that energy. And you can attract whatever you want to you, into your life. You can speak it into existence. First, you got to think it. Then you speak it. And those words become things, from your relationship to your finances to the things that you want in your life, man. It starts right here. So stop taking this red pill, this blue pill, or whatever kind of pill, unless you prescribed it by a licensed doctor, physician. Work on yourself, man. Stop putting a Band-Aid on it. Fix yourself and don't expect anybody else to do it or feel sorry for you while you're doing it. Get yourself right. You can have whatever you want.
Good stuff.
I guess, this dating up, dating down thing, man, look, if you make yourself the best self you can be, ain't no dating up or down. You know what I'm saying? You find that person that you're looking for if you believe in you, and you'll keep that person if you exude that confidence. And that's just how I feel. Word from Johnny Dangerous.
Hey, John, quick question though. What if you do all that and she does the opposite on the opposite end? You do everything to keep her, but she go ahead and leave you, bro.
Man, find another one.
Or ride out.
Ride out, man.
2
Get
fingers.
on your horse.
And that's why I was good. I'm getting to that point exactly for JD wanted to chime in here. This is the part about the quantity part. This is the part about what we're talking about. Discussion is about dating. When we're dating here, people, we have to define exclusive or we are dating multiple people. I wanted to bring that back in about the quality and quantity. And then, of course, do you have quality quantity? When you put yourself in those circles. I'm bringing this back because I know JD got heated and he was like, what's up all this? I just need one, whatever the case may be. But some people operate differently in the dating game. And that if you know where the quality is at, the strength in numbers show that, hey, this woman looks beautiful. She has all the things here, but she's not for me. But she's in the right circle because you're dating in quality. You can say, hey, my man, like, let's say if JD, you're single. Hey, I know this woman over here. She's not for me, but she's for you. So that's what we're talking about, dating multiple quality and quantities. Sometimes we look short-sighted in dating when we say, hey, I got to have all this and that. You know what, though? But there's a science to this here that we are not looking. And like John just said there, so taking these pills, take a step back. Assess the situation here, what you're trying to do with your life here. Because one of the things that we have here in this dating game that we're seeing here is that it is different. Like we have 2 single people on the panel here. Everybody's got in relationships here. So, and also in the chat too, we have a lot of people who are in relationships. We have to remember that the people in relationships, y'all don't know how the single game is today. Mikey and Zoe can talk on this here, which I want to go back to them right now. It is rough in these streets here, That's why, yeah, Zoe, you woke up on me there. There we go here. I want to come back to Zoe here because it's rough in these streets here. And that's why we're talking about this red pill stuff. Prior to us having this conversation, Zoe, let me ask you here, and I want to come to Jeff too as well. I said I was going to come to Jeff, but I kind of went this way here.
No, you good. You good, bro.
Okay, good. Have you think you've encountered red pill men? Without we're understanding it now, but prior to this here, do you think that you've run across these men?
I feel like I've run across the men. Now I'm thinking as I've encountered the red pill kind of philosophy, I've encountered men who've said to me, you look like you would take too much work, right? You seem really nice, but it looks like you would take too much work. Or you look like the kind of woman that is more of a wife and not a girlfriend. I've also met men who I didn't really know who Kevin Samuels was until I went on a date and somebody was quoting figures and I was like, you don't even read. Like, where are you getting these statistics from? So I Googled the figures and I was like, oh, you are subscribing to this YouTube channel and just everything from this man's mouth, because he would refer to himself in the third person of I'm, and when high valued men like myself. And I didn't even know what that was. And so it was really awkward because I'm sitting here going, is this what people do these days? I've been married for a while, now I'm divorced. I don't know what the world is like, but this man sounds like he's quoting all these statistics. Where's it coming from? When I looked it up, I realized it's from Kevin Samuels. Now, I gave it its due diligence to listen to all of what he had to say. But some of the times when I run into the men who are more red pill, meaning they tell you they may say, I'm not looking for a relationship because I don't want to settle down. You seem really serious. You seem cool. And I respect somebody who will tell me up front that I'm not about what you're about. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm okay with that. Tell me up front. But there are also some people, because for me, the game for me is the anti-game. If somebody comes and they're too slick, they're too polished, too smooth, and talking too much game, I'm out. Because the thing is, the whole pickup culture, I grew up in a country full of pickup artists. We talked about that last show.
Oh yeah, here you go, Dog and Jamaican Men again, people.
I'm not Dog and Jamaican Men.
The Dog Jamaican Men segment.
But what I am saying is, if you grew up in a city area and you ever watch Card Sharks, you start to watch their mannerisms. You see how they move. You can realize sometimes in dating you might be talking to a card shark. Okay, it's the whole bait and switch. It's the whole I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear, and it's almost scripted because you're telling me all the things I want to hear. What are you really about? So I've encountered that in my experience dating my friends. You talked a little bit about women don't check women. Your circle, I believe in something called the circle of five. My circle of five, they're responsible for checking me. If I'm out there and I'm not being checked, I need to change my circle. Now, I don't need you to publicly check me because I check myself often. But in my circle of five, I tend to discuss what the dating world is like and what my friends and my peers are encountering. And the thing is, a lot of men are not willing to take the risk of losing their assets as they get older. They're not willing to run the risk of the long drawn out court battle and all those things. And so I often say that those men will continue to live at home in their mother's house, not necessarily because they can't afford it, but because that means you can't come there. You don't have access to them. They'll put other things in, a lot of buffers in place and barriers to connection. They'll often make excuses for why they can't get close to you. And that's when I realized, okay, so if you don't want a relationship, then don't spend the time. But that's not the thing. You're just one of many quality women. That's what Mikey was saying. You're one of many quality women, because I once went out with a guy who only dated doctors. I was like, this was a fetish or something. It was literally like, he's just, I mean, I didn't mention, I said that I worked in medical records, which if anybody knows the health system, working in medical records, you're probably at the bottom of the totem pole. And when he found out later on that I was, I think he Googled me and found out I was a doctor, he became even more interested, which was a red flag for me. Like, why weren't you interested before? So one of the things I noticed is some of the men will kind of keep, in their minds, they think they're keeping a stable, they'll refer to it that way, of women who are quality, and keep it loose so that they can call on you when they want to go somewhere and waste your time. And that's where my circle of five checks me, right? And it's important to have that accountability. But do I need to say that I have no voice and I'm a victim? No, I have a circle of five. We have our space. And when I date, I look for the signs of a person who does not want a relationship, because I want a relationship. So if you're not about that, then I'm out.
Real fast, shout out to the chat. It's getting crazy on there, Mikey. I know
I'm trying to focus, but reading it.
Yeah. I gotta get to Jeff and Mikey. The chat is crazy. I got a comment on one real fast here. For your friend Ashley Shaw, the courts are not for the men. I can comment personally, Ashley,
about not in favor of the women.
No, it's for the women, not for the men. I can comment personally about custody court. How my family, we had to spend $100,000 to get custody of my niece and my nephew from the mother. I can go into details about the situation where we shouldn't have to spend that, but the laws are so jaded against men that how we have to spend so much money for custody. I know that's a long drawn conversation. I'm just saying that I can personally speak on that from another conversation, but the chat is popping. We love this. We need these dialogue, these conversations here. Mikey, I know you got your hand up.
She says the court system does not favor the women.
So I will say that the court system does not account for the mothering. It doesn't account for the mothering. I have never been able, when I was going through my situation, it wasn't, and there was very little animosity, but I will say there was no calculation to express or explain or give me some kind of, for the time I spent being a primary caregiver, the court doesn't care. Court looks as numbers. They don't care.
Yeah, they need work. I get it. But even though, let's look at the basic statistics. 13% of men only get the custody of their kids. The woman is able to control that narrative and be able to use that. Not all women, but a majority of women can use that to be able to handle the business for the man and take the money. 13%. Okay, and then Ashley goes and spend a day in the protective order division. Women don't get much. Let's go ahead and talk about the whole protective disorder. One in 3 women will receive a form of abuse, right? Sexual, physical, mental abuse. Man-wise, in the whole United States, it's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4.
Where you get these numbers?
Go ahead and look it up. It's called stats. That's the thing. I want to back up things with logic as well and stats. That's how I'm going to be able to prove my point. So you have every moment to be able to 1 out of 4 men. But let's look at this basic stuff. Since she's talking about protective order as well, for abuse-wise, how many places in the United States that has shelter for women who have been abused? Thousands. How many do we have for shelters for men who get abused? Because men do get abused. And guess what? If a man gets abused and he claims it, no one's going to try to much believe him. He's going to get put down by women saying he's a sissy, whatever. Cops are not going to be able to say. If you get into a violent altercation with a woman where a woman attacks a man, doesn't matter whatever happens. At the end, the man gets pulled out and gets sent to jail. So here's the thing. There's only one place that allows shelters for men, for them if they're being abused and they need shelter. Yet all of a sudden, when there's a disagreement in the house, who gets kicked out of the house? The man. This is the thing. Your friend here tries to go ahead and put some stuff here. Back yourself up with logic. Don't just go ahead and start spitting these words out here. This is the biggest problem. Exactly what I'm talking about, how women want to shoot their shot and all of a sudden don't have backup anything. It's a bunch of ad hominems and just a bunch of name calling. Back your stuff up. You're behind.
So because you say something's a statistics means that it's accurate, you
look
just
it up then. I can say it, but what I'm saying is I'm putting it out here right now because I know those statistics because I've been knowing them, so they can go ahead and look it up themselves. But the thing though is, don't talk and all this stuff and say all of a sudden say something and then not be able to back it up. That's the biggest problem. Let's just
abuse is one of the most underreported.
And it is more underreported among men. But upon the reporting, 1 out of 4 men gets abused.
We need to these guys need to pick a damn lane. Like, are you gonna be this big, tough, strong man who needs to have a submissive woman, or are you gonna be a bitch and talk about how my woman is beating me? Like, which one is it gonna be?
JD,
like, pick a lane.
I got
pick a lane.
That's funny. Hey, hold on. Let me back it.
These dudes gonna be hard. You gonna be extra tough, or you gonna be soft laying in the corner somewhere.
JD, that's the problem.
Is it?
Hold on, Mikey. Let me get in. JD, that's funny, but that's really a problem.
It is.
What you did right there was the problem.
That is a problem because real facts though, there are men getting their ass whooped and they're too scared to stand up. And then we can joke around about it, but
which one is it though? Which one is it? Are we gonna be alpha men, or are we gonna be men that's getting beat in the corner? Which one is it?
Every man's an alpha, JD.
Okay, exactly, and that's exactly the point that I want everybody to understand.
You're joking about someone getting their ass whooped though. See, if we did that about women, no, JD. If we did that about a woman, this show would be done on YouTube right now, right? If we started going in and start doing that, but that's misandry. Let me start this. Does anybody know what the word misandry means?
She a character on
Game of
Thrones.
In the chat. Does anybody know what misandry means? Put it in the chat.
Contempt for men and dislike or prejudice to men.
See, we can't have
on Game of Thrones too.
This is hypocrisy. We can't. We're having these good discussions here. We can't do it both ways. We cannot say we're gonna talk women this way and then having serious discussions and this shit on men.
But this red pill, blue pill, purple pill is all. That's exactly what this.
No, Brady, you got it wrong.
Let me go ahead and ease it out for you, okay? Let me ease it out for you. Remove the red pill, remove the blue pill, remove the purple pill. If
what pills are we taking then?
No pills at all right now. Just remove that, because the thing is you're attaching something to it. If I'm a man and I'm able to understand more about women, to know them more as a person, to be able to figure them out, would that put me in advantage for someone? To be able to meet the right woman, to be able to have a conversation?
Put you in an advantage?
If I know more, if I'm willing to be able to know more about women, how they act, how they interact, would that put me in advantage on be able, like, here's a perfect example. Dr. Zoe, are you a pretty good imaginative person?
Yeah.
You are? Come close to the camera. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I know. I want you to think of a cube right now. Can you imagine a cube?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to describe the cube. Is it big or is it small?
Medium-sized.
Medium-sized cube. Okay, looking into the cube, is it more of a 3D or is it actually in a flat surface?
3D.
3D. Now, looking at that into the cube, are you able to see through? Is it solid or is it see-through?
Solid.
Solid. Now, looking at that cube, is it actually raised from the ground or is it actually flat on the ground?
The edge of it touches the ground on one corner.
Because it's a 3D, so you have it like a diamond, right? Am I guessing right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a diamond shape. Okay. And touching. So it's barely touching the stuff. So now looking at that, I want you to pretend and I want you to imagine a ladder. Can you think of a ladder right now? Can you imagine a ladder somewhere in the cube?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the ladder to the cube?
It's not touching. No, I can't imagine it touching the cube because my cube is spinning.
The cube is spinning. Interesting. All right. So where's the ladder?
Laying on the ground.
Laying on the ground. It's flat, so you can't even climb it, right?
Right.
Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and imagine a horse.
Okay.
Do you see a horse?
Mm-hmm.
Describe to me the horse.
It's a tan-colored horse.
Okay. Give me a more description. What else do we know?
With a long tail and just, has a couple white spots on it.
White spots in it? All right. From all that stuff, I want you to imagine a storm. Imagine a storm right now. Where's the storm?
Imagine a storm in the same scene.
Just imagine a storm right now.
Okay.
Does a storm enter?
is okay. Got a storm. Mm-hmm.
Where is it at to the cube?
I don't picture it near the cube.
So it's not on top of the cube. It's far away somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a fucked up storm, heavy storm, or is it like a very light storm?
Like a summer storm.
Summer
And
storm.
light rain.
Light rain. Okay, perfectly fine. So open up your eyes. You know what that all means?
Not a damn thing.
No, it means something. But I just want to see if I can mess around with you and see if make you do something.
Right. You just got me to pay attention to you, listen to you, and follow instructions.
But most men can't keep a woman's attention enough to be able to have a conversation.
I do this every day with patience.
Exactly.
You get
So
them to
now-
follow instructions.
Hold on. It's not done. It's actually something that I made you do. The cube is a description of your ego as a person. It's a description of you. So the fact that you have a medium cube, that means you have a medium ego. You don't think you're a person who's like really fucked up. I'm the shit, or you're at the same time is like, I'm not anybody. So the fact that that's who you are as a cube, the fact it's 3D, that means there's multi sides of you as a person. That you are a person that there's a lot of things going on with you in life, that you have so much stuff about you. The fact that it is solid, right? It's a solid cube.
Yeah.
Right? The fact it's solid, that means you don't share yourself automatically with everybody. You're a person that's very guarded, but at the very same time, is when you want to open up to somebody, you can open up, but you make the decision to be able to open up for a person, right? The fact that it's actually it's an angle where the tip is touching, so it looks like a diamond. So that's your ego. So that means your ego is is priceless. You value yourself as a person.
Mm-hmm.
What the funny part is, the ladder is a description of your ambitions in life. The fact that the ladder is actually in the ground, that means you don't need to climb your ambitions because you already made your ambitions in life. You wanted to be a doctor, now you're a doctor. So you don't need to climb it. So if it's a ladder that's hard to climb, that means and it's close by to the cube, that means you know where you want to be, but at the very same time it's hard to climb. If the ladder is far away, that means you know where you want to be, but it's far there, right? Now here's the fun part. You described a tan-colored horse. The horse is your ideal man. Looking into the horse, where is it located to the cube right now?
It's near the horse. They're close to each other.
Is it in front of each other, back of it, and the side?
On the side.
So that means you want a man who's a tan-colored long tail. I don't even want to know what you mean by long tail. Okay.
Jamaican man who should be dissing.
All right.
Lots.
All right. But you want a tan-colored horse. And you want a man who's actually by your side. That's your ideal man, is for him to be by your side.
Okay.
If you find somebody. So now looking at the storm describes your problems in life. They do exist, as you say, but it's a light summer rain, so it's not really that bad, and it's far away from the cube. So they do exist in your life, but it's there. So if I explain all that to you right now, and I just met you, we only talked here, and we have some great conversations and go back and forth. But
Yeah.
as me describing you as a person who never met you personally one-to-one, from a scale of 1 to 10, right there, what's the number that you can give me that I guessed you accurately?
I'd say about an 8.
Okay, so if I met you in a club and I start talking to you and I kind of want to be able to know more about you, instead of me sliding down on the side and say, what's your number, what's your sign, and I actually go in and have a conversation with you to be able to find more about you, to know more about you as a person that describes you, would that give me a head start over other people?
Well, first of all, the fact that you're communicating with me in a respectful way, that would be it.
And I made you smile. And
you're focusing your attention on me.
Mhm.
Right?
The problem is most men are not taught that way to be able to have that conversation that we just had. If I have that same conversation with any woman that I meet in a club, I have their attention. But at the very same time as they have my attention fully. The problem is A lot of men were not taught by their fathers how to be able to talk to men, to talk to women. And a lot of men have this anger. And I think that's why I'm saying a lot of the people in the red pill have anger because they never learn how to be able to pick up a woman or talk to a woman or just have a conversation. And my thing is, whenever I meet people in the red pill community, I always tell them, I said, there's ways to actually understand women, use your knowledge about what's going on. But ultimately, you don't want to be angry because you want to meet a woman. If you really want to meet a woman, then you need to come to the purple pill area, and you want to be able to understand women. I'd guess you an 8 out of a 10. That right there is what they call a cold read. So if I did that in a club, imagine if I approach 150 women anywhere in the world in 1 week, and I use that same routine that they probably never heard of. Would that make me better? And I'm not talking about trying to have sex with them, try to mess with their heads. I'm talking about having an honest conversation. But most people can't even have the conversation. Men are talking crap about women, which is completely wrong. But then you have a bunch of women talking crap about men. I want to meet in the middle. You know, there's going to be guys right now in the chat room that's going to be like, oh crap, Myk, I thought Myk was a red pill. I believe in the red pill because my eyes are open and I understand it. But I also believe in a real relationship, a positive relationship, and all that stuff. You know, that's the thing. People jump right away on their comments down below, and that's what pisses me off. Is because know me first a little bit. Where am I coming from? That's the thing right there. Is I wanted to be able to have a fruitful conversation with you and know more about you. Now that I know more about you, I know how to navigate stuff around you as a person. But if I'm a guy who's a pickup artist and I go the other way, I can also use that to be able to qualify myself to take a woman home and sleep with them. I choose not to do that. Have I done that? Yes, I have done that because I know the game of what happens and how women choose. I know the game that can happen. But I think that people should not take advantage of the knowledge that they have. Women do it all the time. Men do it all the time. There's a middle point. And that's what I'm fighting for. But for women to say that men thinking this way, the way these men are thinking and where they are with the red pill, and all of a sudden just push them as like, you know, misogynist or whatever. No, learn something about it. Like for those people out there right now talking about this, talking crap, some of the ladies saying I'm wrong or this and that, I'm all over. Watch the movie The Red Pill. A woman made it. A feminist woman made it. A feminist woman. And so you can understand the plight of a lot of the men who have these problems, who are thinking like this. You know, that's the thing. You know, sometimes you have to open up yourself no matter what. But there's no opportunity given. We were having these conversations going back and forth, but I said, you know what, let me stop this. Let me find out more about Dr. Zoe. And we have a fruitful conversation.
Fruitful conversation.
Hey, we're still here too now, damn it.
Yeah, and I gotta say real fast, Myk went from the most hated person on the squad to the chat is starting to fall in love with Myk for a little bit. I'm seeing some side comments on my phone here. It's like I didn't know Myk had this side in him. You know, so this is great conversation here. Jeff, I know you've been sitting there patiently waiting on that. That was Myk, that was like almost a mic drop, literally almost there for you there last couple of weeks here. What you got added on that, Jeff? I know you've been sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add. I just a lot of times these shows I leave with sometimes more questions than answers. But I think that a lot of what we're talking about today, people need to focus more on building. And I've said this before. Damn, Myk really mic dropped. He dipped out.
Yeah, he did on me.
I think that people need to focus more on building bridges as opposed to building walls. A lot of what we're talking about tonight are, you know, welcome back, Myk. Yeah, people need to focus more on building bridges than building walls. A lot of what we're talking about tonight are people building these walls. What I'm gonna do, what I'm not gonna do, et cetera, et cetera. Also, a lot of what I'm hearing too, people going into certain situations having a victim mentality. Woe is me, you know, playing that victim role. So you're operating at a deficit when you do that. So it just seems like there's too many instances where people are going into these scenarios assuming the worst, or assuming or expecting, quote unquote, worst case scenarios. And you can't operate from that. And to John's point that he said before, building yourself up, doing that self-development, everything like that's going to get you to a point where you can be open and you can accept whatever positivity comes your way. Because a lot of what I'm seeing and hearing is negativity and assumptions of negativity. Oh, well, she just go be like this, or he just go be like that. And it's like, damn, if that's how you coming out the gate, where everything's gonna be fucked up, then you're gonna continue to generate fucked up situations. That's kind of how I see that. It's a mentality thing. A lot of times too, people seem to be making assumptions. Like Dr. Zoe, you were saying that a guy would say, well, I can tell that you go do X, Y, and Z. I can tell you ain't gonna do this or you go do that. It's like, damn, like you meet somebody and 5 minutes in, you already you broke them down like that, and that's just something, man. So I don't mean to just kind of go off on all different types of tangents or anything like that, but what happened to assuming positive intent? you can get screwed over. I understand that, but if you go into these situations, man, assuming the worst and in a combative state, then that's not going to get you very far.
True that. Combative state, negative state here. JD.
Yes, sir.
You've been patiently waiting there with your grandpa hat.
Oh yeah, man. It's just a different type of swag, grown man swag, But anyway,
what you got extra on there?
Anyway, yeah, I don't have too much to add. It's this conversation has been interesting and eye-opening to me. I enjoy the differing points of view that come from everybody on our panel. I enjoy the differing points of view that come from everyone in the chat. Like just watching and sort of moderating the chat, it's interesting to see the differing points of view. And I encourage people to continue to do that. But like I said, I block somebody for a little bit. Take a time out, go stand in the corner for a little bit, because no taunting. We're not gonna have a toxic chat.
Yeah,
like it's cool to come in and hang out and get your points across, but we're not gonna be toxic. I don't do the toxicity. I can't even spell toxicity. But as far as our conversation tonight, I've definitely enjoyed it. What Mike did a little while ago blew my mind. That was awesome. Like
I'm deep.
Right. I was sitting, I was trying to answer like, what kind of horse do I? What horse do I like? Where my ladder at? You know what I mean?
You do that to a man. If you do that to the man, you're gonna freak out.
Where my cube at? My tail pretty big.
Whoa.
But,
Hey yo.
But just hearing the different points of views, and yeah, I'm trying to get serious again. Just hearing the different points of views.
I'm muting myself. Hold on, man. I can't stop laughing.
Hearing the different points of views and understanding and trying to put myself in a place where I can understand these other points of views. I think that's what this is about. It's not necessarily agreeing with it. It's not necessarily disagreeing with it. It's understanding someone else's point of view. You can have your own point of view. If you want to be a part of the red pill community, blue pill, purple pill, whichever one, go ahead. Like if that's you and that's how you feel, if you want to go all the way and dive into the incel end, you can go ahead and do that, as long as it's you and as long as you're not necessarily out there trying to sway and influence others. I think that's the problem that we run into here a lot, is that people are so gullible and willing to follow something and wanting to follow something and wanting to fit into something and be a part of something, that they will go as far as to fall into that sort of that sort of idea, that sort of lifestyle. And hey, if it's for you, it's for you. But I don't really think that you should. Well, I'm not. I can't tell people what they should think. But I mean, it's not for me. But if it's for you, you do you. As long as it don't hurt me, and as long as you're not hurting any of mine, go ahead and do you. But I think that it's tough when you're out there and you have a inherently negative view of what your your human counterpart is. And if you have that negative view, it's kind of hard to remain positive when it's like that. And that's where I kind of feel for people like that.
Yeah, I hear that sincerely there, JD. And I know Dr. Zoe wants to comment on a few other items as well.
Yes, I think that, I really enjoyed reading the chat. In fact, I mean, the chat was just popping. It was impressive to see the conversation and people learning from each other in different perspectives, right? And so that's the beauty of a show like this, is to give the space, because women sometimes don't have a conversation with men, and especially men that will tell them how they really feel, which, we do that all the time at the Jump Off. So thank you all for participating in the chat. And then, like I said, my girl, Ashley, she is my attorney. And we went to college together and represent University of Chicago. So we're talking big smarts. Really proud, but love the conversation. For the women who are in the chat, I think that we need more conversations where we hear what men think. I think being open to hearing what men think is important, because we have different kinds of views. And so I really enjoyed everyone taking that time to listen and us all taking turns. I wish this would start at middle school. I really do. I say it.
Can we get Ashley on the show?
Huh?
Can we get Ashley on the show?
Can we get Ashley on the show? For real. I feel like Ashley.
Wait a minute. You said Ashley she's from University of Chicago with you, though?
University of Chicago. Yeah.
She's gonna kill me.
I was there all the time. Did I not see her during those years?
She was studying.
Okay, so she's locked in the room. That makes sense then, because we was out kicking it all the time. But man, yeah, shout out to the chat here. Once again, people, we need that HBO special. Help a brother out. Click like, subscribe. I know it sounds corny, but I'm gonna keep saying on every show here. HBO, help a brother out. Click like, subscribe, click that follow button. Also, what I wanted to add to before we sign off here, man, it's been going on about a couple hours here, man. Who knows? We might do a 3 or 4 hour session of the show here, but but one of the things that we have to remember, people, is that the dating game that we're seeing now, some of us in the chat and people who are not in the dating game, what's happening now in these streets is not the same thing that's happened in the 2010s. It's not happening in the 2000s, or when we have older siblings were dating, or our parents were dating. It's a whole different ballgame. And so a lot of times we come in with these ideas of dating that's finite. We look at it and we say, hey, this is what it is. And the thing is that the game has changed. We've seen so many changes within the culture, especially in the 60s. I want to go to another show down the line where we talk about feminism and also integration that's also impacted the Black community in dating, that we're not even seeing and not even looked at or touched that a lot of people have. That are so many macro factors that impact us. But we have to look at the fact that today is different. We are not in the same age that we're dating back in the day. So we can't be finite thinking that this is the way it is and we should be this way. We have to understand the younger people who are in this game and who are explaining these things. Like Mike's in the game here because being these stats, the younger audience who are dating right now, we have to talk to them. We got to get them on the show. They're the ones who are in the rut. We may be talking about what I don't get this, but nah, they're the ones who I watch these YouTube videos and we're talking about the Peef Network or eight in the table. These are the folks that's going to have it worse. If we have kids, our kids are going to be in the worst predicament in the next 10 to 15 years. That's why we got to have these conversations. We cannot be finite. We have to be open, listen to dialogue. We cannot close our ears down, literally, because that's what we're seeing sometimes here until we get open up, bring these walls down so men and women can talk, and then we can finally get to a common place. Mikey, I know you want to say something there. Or did you? Or were you? Or are
no,
you
I put myself on mute because I'm chewing.
Okay, I thought you wanted to say something. I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing is that it's all about, we talked about all these positivity stuff that, towards the end. And I think that's where it is that I think, if most people just don't understand that just because a woman says no to you, you're not supposed to take that personally. The thing though is when a man gets a no, the man needs to be able to self-assess himself and have self-accountability. I think a lot of men nowadays don't have self-accountability. For me, wise back in the days, if I got a no, my question to myself is like, what did I do that was not good enough to be able to have a conversation with this woman? And that I think is one of the biggest problems, because some guys, because of fear of rejection, when you get rejected, some guys just get so mad and start blaming the woman. I'm not going to blame a woman because she said no to me. I'm going to blame myself and say I didn't do something about it. So what do I do next? Do I need to level up? And some of these guys, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go again. I know I've been talking a lot about the women on everything a lot today, but I'm going to go back to the guys. Come on, guys. If you're going to be complaining, level yourself up. The thing though is, if a guy starts whining about how these women want to be with a high value man, then level yourself up so you put yourself in the playing field to be able to have the opportunity to be at bat. You know, the thing though is just that it's the funniest thing. For the guys that complain so much in the red pill movement, and then I see some guys and I'm like, well, no wonder a woman don't want to approach you. No wonder a woman doesn't want to talk to you. It's like self-accountability, I think, is one of the biggest things. Positivity is one of the biggest things. And assessing yourself always to be better. And unfortunately, some guys also are at fault where they approach the wrong women. A man needs to know what his level is. But sometimes guys want also the women that they will not ever have a chance with at all. And then all of a sudden, they're going to blame the system. So each side has their own accountability to do. But in the end, as men, we need to be accountable for ourselves. And just like, going back to the positive stuff, like there's always going to be somebody that you can meet. But the thing is, most guys now are nowadays talking about the 20-year-olds are just stuck in their mama's basement and think that sliding in the DM is what's going to get them a woman. What kind of woman are you going to get if you find her in the DMs? That's just my thing on that.
Profound, Mike. John, what you got for me, John, man? Before we close out.
Real quick, man. Knowledge is power, ain't it? What we have to realize is that this game that we call life is a game of chess, not checkers. See, what I realize, when we're talking about blue pill, red pill, and this concept can go for anything in life. You can become a master at anything. You can become a master at anything if you study it, if you become a student to it. There's science all around us. There's a science to this thing, right? And the more you learn, the more you can apply what you've learned. Fellas, you can be a master and become a player and get all the women you want. Knock them down, line them up and knock them down. You can do that. Ladies, you become a master and get that bag from many of men that'll pay you. Just give you money for whatever reason. You can become a master of that. But all in all, you got to think about what defines your happiness in the end. You want to be able to look back on your life when that time comes where you was running and gunning, mastering the things that you desired to get what you wanted. That was temporary. And realize that, man, what really matters is you becoming a master of yourself. When you become a master of yourself, when you get to really know yourself, I'm always going to go back to this. Whenever we have these talks like this, I'm always going to go back to self. If you become a master of yourself, man, you can conquer any and everything in this world. You can defy the gravities of you can't, you never will, you ain't got it in you. You can defy all of that, but it all starts right here. Once you do that, man, you can do whatever. You can find whatever. Just let it be of something of substance, something you can look back and be proud of, to say that you did it. This is what you mastered and put your energy towards and attracted to you. Did it do good for you? Did it do good for others? Keep that in mind. You can become a master of anything, but you need to master yourself before you get out there and get yourself hurt or hurt somebody. And that's words from Johnny Dangerous.
That's what's up, John. Man, I think that should be the way we should close this out here. We've gone a couple hours here, jump off live, man. HBO special. Help the brother out. Click like, subscribe, click that bell notification. We're having these great conversations, profound, deep. May get a little heated, may get a little tense, but at the end of these couple hours, we coming back and doing kumbaya and loving each other and whatsoever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
love everybody in this panel. I love everybody in the chat here. So, shout out to Jeff. You got any final words before we sign out, Jeff?
Peace and love. That's it, man.
JD.
That's what I'm all about.
Nope. Much love to everybody, man. Really appreciate all the love and support. And thank you for the 2 thumbs down we got. That means we really on the map.
Uh-oh. We that means we made it. For real,
Yeah.
for real. We got some thumbs down.
Well, I'm gonna go find my horse with the long tail.
And some white
Yo.
spots. And some white spots. Don't forget that. I remember the white spots.
She wants some freckles on that dude.
You.
Mike, final comments.
Yeah.
All right.
No final words. John, you had a great profound thing. Hey, I'm just happy we all can get together and do this every week. Fellas,
Right.
ladies in the chat, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday. Jump off live. Come back here and check us out. You know, we got Mike. You can check him out on his other channels. Dr. Zoe, you know, we got the Must Clinic here. I'm that dude named Dave, JD, John, Jeff. We're going to be signing out, and we'll be back next week.
Jump off.